Hi, everybody. As you can see, Florida digs, man. Back in Florida, and glad to be with you at the halftime show with the score, which shouldn't be, but is 10-6. It's interesting when you look at this and you say to yourself, if we could get just a smidge better, and the offense has actually looked better than it has with a guy who hasn't started a game in 2 years and has had no reps whatsoever this year, compared to Deshaun Watson, who will never play again, so we don't have to talk about him anymore. Can you imagine how much better this team would be if Jimmy Haslam were to just be gone? Could you imagine if we had a competent owner? I mean, if this one little thing that you could bring in a quarterback, just like last year with Flacco, and you're suddenly throwing passes downfield, if you could accomplish that with that one little change, can you imagine if you just lost Jimmy Haslam in the woods somewhere and we got a decent owner? This team could be a good team. But unfortunately, it's not going to happen. Now, here's what I noticed about the Browns. First, Nick Chubb. He had a couple runs where he actually looked like Nick Chubb. Then he had some other runs where not so great. He's a work in progress. He is still learning what his capacities are and what they're not. The Browns, as a team, have been running the ball better today than they have been. They have more of the pieces of their offensive line with Wyatt Teller, being, back in play. DeJuan Jones at the left tackle, he fucked up. And I don't know, nobody picked up Hamilton on a blitz. I don't understand how that happens personally. The announcers are trying to say it was a horrible play call and this and that. I'm not buying that either. There was one man blitzing on the play. We didn't pick him up, and DeJuan Jones double teamed a guy. DeJuan Jones's head is never in the game. Here's another thing that bothers the piss out of me. Jerry Jeudy doesn't know where in the fuck he's running on the field. If you saw him with the telestrator with Jameis Winston, Winston was pointing out, no, you go this way, this way. When he's lining up, he's going like this. I don't know where I'm supposed to go. And Jameis Winston's pointing him. How in the world could we have re-signed this guy? How in the hell did we give him an extension before finding out that he's mentally retarded? How is that possible? Oh, my God. Jerry Jeudy isn't good enough to play in the NFL, let alone be starting. As far as Jameis Winston is concerned, I don't consider the fumble his fault. And it bothers me when the announcers just start pointing and assessing blame. It's not the play call. It's one guy who didn't do his fucking job. That's what it is. Nothing more, nothing less. If you're looking at the stats from the game, Jameis Winston has thrown for 110 yards, 10 of 16, with no touchdowns, no interceptions. He's been sacked twice. One was the mistake by DeJuan Jones. Lamar Jackson is 9 of 14 for 95. Same stats, maybe slightly less than Jameis Winston. That's not hurt us. Derrick Henry has 47 yards, averaging 9 yards a carry, but one of them was a 39-yarder. Besides that, the Browns' defensive line has done a good job in getting to him in the backfield before he picks up a head of steam. Chubb is 10 carries and 39 yards with a long of 15. And, he's got to figure out what he's doing, and he's got time to do it because there ain't going to be anything happening anytime soon with the Browns. Elijah Moore has 3 receptions for 41. Tillman 4 for 27. Njoku 1 for 20. Jeudy 1 for 19 when he happened to figure out where he was running. And that's that. The turnover looms huge in this game, 100% again. DeJuan Jones. He played lousy on the right side. He plays lousy on the left side. He jumps off sides. Fuck him. I don't think he's very good. Okoronkwo had a nice sack, an 11-yard loss sack. And the mind-boggling play was what Harbaugh chose to do, for God's sakes, on a 4th and 1. And the announcers, I will say this, the announcers were open and honest about that. That was a mind-boggling play call. They put Henry alone in the backfield to take the direct snap. And it's like, that's a guy who needs speed to go forward and roll over people. What were they thinking? And he just got buried before he had a chance to do anything. So I've got no clue whatsoever. Oh, this is good. Gardening while listening to Mr. Moohead. Life is good. The gardening part. The listening to Mr. Moohead part, not so great. Oh man. Yeah, it's that was a Kevin Stefanski play call. Now, what does it mean about Kevin Stefanski if our passing game is actually getting the ball to wide receivers and moving the ball twice in a row down the field when that couldn't be accomplished and we're actually converting third downs? What does that say for Kevin Stefanski's play calling? If you said while you were sitting down he should never call plays again, that would be correct. That would be bing, 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 absolutely correct. Or the gong of truth. Absolutely true. He should never call plays again, ever, no matter where he is, by the way. As far as the defense is concerned, the defense has played well, has done what it's supposed to do, except intercept passes. Let's be honest, 3 of those passes, there was an opportunity to be picked. I looked at the Denzel Ward one again, but I saw the wide receiver did get his hand on the ball. The Jerry Jeudy not knowing where to run cost us a possible reception and first down downfield when the ball was supposed to be going to Elijah Moore, and Jerry Jeudy just jammed up the pattern again for no reason. There was one mistake, maybe 2, that I saw Jameis Winston make. One, he could have thrown a ball out on a flat on the third down that probably would have picked up a first down, and he backed off to throw downfield. Which is more of the Ken Dorsey influence. The other one was where he and Elijah Moore were not on the same, page, and he almost threw an interception when Cedric Tillman had broken into the upper left side of the end zone open. So, but there are going to be open possibilities anywhere on the field at any given moment in time. One thing I can tell you, though, Deshaun Watson has a dead arm. We never want to see him again. I mean, Jameis Winston has more zip on the ball, and it's really kind of reminiscent of the Flacco thing, isn't it? Like the ball gets there quicker, and so he's got to fit the ball in, and he gets the ball there. And Deshaun Watson's look like just wounded ducks. You can say all you want about his Achilles tendon and all this. His arm, his shoulder, I don't think his shoulder ever healed, because he just wasn't getting the ball anywhere, and he really looked to be afraid to throw the ball down the field, and he was holding on to it. Jameis Winston is, as you heard, trusts in the Lord. So he's going to trust the downfield pass. He needs to check down every now and then, though, to move the ball forward. What do we look for in the second half of the game? Well, for one thing, you got to keep a handle on Henry, because you know how Harbaugh is in close games. They win every one they're in. And when you give Lamar Jackson the second opportunity to get the ball down the field, he will get it into the end zone. He's no better than he was his previous years. And this thing is, he's going to be the most valuable player again. But what do the Ravens have to show for it? And the answer is, that's right, double zeros. Jim Otto, old Raiders reference. They got nothing to show for it, because when he gets into the playoffs, so you have that going for you. That's an image you're never going to get out of your face. So, and it was interesting to see Jameis Winston pointing at his chest after the fumble, saying, "That's on me." When was the last time you saw Deshaun Watson say that? Like, fucking never. Responsibility is important, but you got to move on to the next play. The Browns are getting the ball back to start the second half. They need to continue to mix run in with pass. I think the offensive line is doing a much better job this game. But again, you can't tell me that the indecision of Deshaun Watson in the backfield didn't make the pass pressure worse. But they're blocking up front for Jameis. The only one that he fumbled was the guy coming behind him, and there was no reason because he was rolling away from the play. If the guy had been so much as blocked just a little, Jameis would have had time to either throw the ball down the field or run it down the field. But the bottom line was Juwan Jones fell asleep. So, there's that. The Browns have come to play. At least we can sit back and say they're putting up a fight. Whether they can continue to do that in the second half, that is yet to be determined, because the Ravens are going to come out hungry, and their coach is tongue lashing them because they did not do what they were supposed to do. Yeah, but just remember, the more Baker scores, the more his defense gives up, and that's Baker's fault. Think about it. Oh, God. Yeah, and that's exactly right, Greg. They played really well for about 29 minutes, and then one mistake does them in. The defense is doing good to stop a lot of plays downfield, but we need turnovers. We need short fields to get a little bit of momentum. That's what it all amounts to. So here we are, and I'll be with you after the game on the post-game show. And it's nice, 10-6 down. We're at least in this game for a half, which is more than I thought would be the case. Join me after the game or on the post-game show, and we'll banter more about this and see if we can continue doing well in the second half of the game. Until then, see ya after the game. Bye.